Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach. Two friends discuss all things fitness to bring knowledge and some opinions to you wherever you may be in your health journey. My friend Kaylee, the beginner, almost ran a 5K once, recently had her first protein shake, and is the proud owner of one set of 5-pound dumbbells.
And my friend Sara, the expert, grunts when she lifts, has race walked dozens of races, including a full marathon, and has 12 open protein tubs in the pantry. So let's get started.
Whoa. Okay, so this podcast is for entertainment only. If you have concerns about your health, consult a physician or other healthcare professionals. So Kaylee, if I say the word maintenance, what comes to mind?
Like a janitor?
Oh, well, that would be that would be a maintenance service.
Yeah, like a maintenance man.
Sure. Yeah. So what exactly is a maintenance, like what would a maintenance man?
Clean up.
Kind of like working.
Keep things moving. Yeah.
Maintain, like the current state.
One may maintain.
A person who maintains.
So we're talking about fitness maintenance.
As it would relate to our topic.
Yeah.
It would be maintenance, which would be like the act of, and what is the,
I would
what does
imagine
Google
it's like,
say the true definition is of.
Well, I can tell you.
Okay.
In my own words.
Okay,
I think
that works too. What's the Kaylee definition of maintenance?
So it's like when you get to a point where you are, happy with where you are, and you need to stay where you are?
Just to maintain.
Yeah.
Maintain.
I think that's the Webster's
exact definition of it. Or the happy, do you think it's happy, or were you just like content? Content.
I mean, nobody's ever happy.
Right. So that's why I'm like wondering if you think that like maybe
I just think, I imagine like for me, I'm going to get to a point where like right now I'm trying to like lose weight, and then I'm going to want to do the strength training. I mean, eventually there has to be a point where you
just like, I'm good with this.
Maintain
right
where you're at.
Yeah.
Does it mostly pertain to like weight loss, or I guess there's a lot of different aspects of.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that it doesn't have to be whether or not it's been weight loss or not. I mean, because sometimes it's weight gain, honestly. I mean, if you're on the other side of it and it's something where it's like you've had other struggles and it's not necessarily that you're trying to lose weight, but a lot of times it can be you're trying to gain muscle or you're trying to gain weight for certain reasons. So it's really kind of at what point do you feel like you're in a good spot,
right?
That you're like, okay, this is a good spot for me to be in, for a while.
Yeah,
that is what I would consider like the definition of like. And maintenance.
So that's, I'm guessing that doesn't consist of just not doing anything,
right? Well, that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. Like, is it one of those things where you're like, okay, you get to this point, wherever it is, whether you've been like gaining or losing or whatever, but you kind of hit this moment where like, okay, I'm good where I'm at, and then what happens then? Right? Do you get to just be like, okay, I've done all the hard work now. I'm just going to do whatever I want?
I'm guessing not.
Well, I'm sure the answer that would be the preferred answer is, well, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
that's of course what I was planning on. But I feel like this is going somewhere.
You're like, I don't want to talk about this. Such a bummer.
This episode's going to bum me out big time.
So
I just Googled, do you know what a macro cycle is? Does that word mean anything to you?
What's the definition of it? Maybe is it in like a context? Like use it in a sentence.
So that the maintenance phase is one phase or quote unquote macro cycle, a large portion of a training year. Yeah. So this sounds like more like when you're like training for a competitive athletic.
Well, I mean, I think you can have maintenance phases in a variety of different purposes.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if you're an endurance runner or a triathlete or things like that, like you would go through different phases. Yeah. Of like you're training for a particular race. Yeah. Versus like, okay, now you're maintaining your current level of like endurance.
So you're not like training.
You're not like training for a specific race, but then you're like, okay, I'm going to maintain where I'm at. And then like you'd pick a new race and you would do a training cycle, to really like rev up and train. So you kind of go through different phases and stages. Yeah. As it relates to like different races of that nature.
Sure.
So as it relates to like health, wellness, fitness goals, you go through a period of time where you're making some changes. You're seeing all the progress. You're getting to your goal. Then what happens when you get to where you think your happy place is, right? What do you do from there? is, I think, just what we're going to like.
Do you want me to
talk about?
Are you asking me? Do you want me to tell you?
What do you think is going to happen when you get there?
That's not the way this works. You tell me.
What do you expect or what do you think is going to happen when you're there? We got some beeping going on here. Here. Is that you?
Oh.
Oh, that Google timer. Oh, good Lord. Kaylee literally set a Google timer on her. It sounded like an oven timer.
So when I
all of a sudden we're like, is there a smoke detector going off?
Look,
Like,
at
what's
Alan.
that?
He's like, it's not me. Sorry, Alan. No, I pulled up Google because my watch died.
Right.
So I can't use it to time
to
this
see
episode.
the time, yeah.
So I pulled up a timer on Google.
And actually set it
But
instead
the
of it
first
being
thing
like...
it pulled up was an actual timer. It was a 5-minute timer.
So we hit 5 minutes is
and
what you're
didn't
saying.
Stop it. Yeah, we're at the 5-minute mark. So then I clicked over on the stopwatch to have like a running and
the timer was set.
Sorry, that was my fault. Sorry, guys.
Like, is there a smoke detector going off? Do we need to get out of the building?
We all just looked at each other like it was somebody else's fault. It was me the whole time.
Me.
Oh, right.
Well, because you were on your phone.
I was trying to figure out where it's coming from, and I was like looking around like...
Do we have that on that camera?
Yeah, we do. We got it on the camera. We got it on the podcast. Like, this is going to live on forever.
Oh, it's been a rough night for me. I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, well, let's channel that. Let's channel those like feelings. So let's say you've put this effort into this like goal. And all of a sudden you're like, I made it.
Yeah.
I'm there, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to. Then you don't want to stop, and
you don't want to stop. But you know, you do hit this like natural kind of point. I feel like that you're like, okay, I'm in a good spot right now. Or you know, you got to the end and you're like, okay, this is it. Like I did it all. Like the number one mistake that I see that will happen is people put in all this work and effort in getting to their goal. Kaylee's still thinking about the timer going off. The little beeping.
oh god. Anyway,
you didn't push start again, did you? No, stop it. Keep your hands off your computer.
No, I didn't.
But you know, you get to your goal, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I did it. Like I put in all the hard work, and like it's just gonna stay. Oftentimes, people revert back to the way that they lived life prior to this like more focused effort on the specific goal that they were trying to accomplish.
Which is I just feel like that's human nature.
It is human nature because those are like lifelong habits that you've created, right? I mean, it's natural tendencies.
And so the maintenance part of it is just it's just a shift. It's still as much, you need to like put as much into it, but it's just a shift into what you're doing.
Yeah. And I'm going to sugarcoat it a little bit. No, I'm not. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all.
I think you were.
No. Maintenance, I think, is the hardest part of it all. It is actually like really kind of not fun. Only from a standpoint of like when you're working specifically on a goal, you'll see and feel the changes, and you have this like sense of pride of like knowing like, okay, I'm doing this. I have control. I'm doing this. Like I can see the changes. I can feel it.
And then when you're not getting,
and then you get there and you're like, okay, now I just need to stay here.
Yeah.
You're not getting all of those pieces
feel good.
all that feedback. And so then you kind of hit moments where you're like, what am I doing this all for?
Yeah.
Or, you know, you're not really like seeing it quite as in the same way.
Sure.
But it is the most important part. You can't just drop everything that you've done. That's where it's like habits are really super important in building that foundation first and not trying to do something that's quick or fast or easy or the fad like diet or whatever. Building that solid foundation, which, by the way, do you know I have a book that's called The Healthy Habits Challenge?
You wrote it?
I wrote it.
What? I said that as a joke.
It started off as an ebook.
She wrote a book.
I do. Yeah, I do. I have a book. And so like it started off as just an ebook that for like 6 years I just had as an ebook for free, and you could sign up for it on the healthyhabitschallenge.com. And it's this like foundation of a week focusing on one thing for a week at a time. And it kind of like builds over 10 weeks. So at the end, you've done like these 10 healthy habits that have like built. And so, but now it's like hard copy available on Amazon.com. So you can go the Healthy Habits Challenge, go to the website. Anyways, so there we go. But the whole foundation part is really super huge. And so it's, if you miss that step and you skip straight to like all the fun and exciting stuff, then you get to the end and the maintenance mode is really hard. It's very hard.
Sounds hard.
You can't just throw away everything that you have if you have done or not. So you got to kind of stick to it. But even though it gets really overused, the whole like 80-20 rule, I do think really applies to this topic, because if you can just keep doing what you have been doing 80% of the time, you give yourself like that 20% wiggle room. Oftentimes it'll get flip-flopped though, and you'll just kind of keep dabbling in what you're doing, the 20%, and then go back to doing whatever you want to for 80%. But anyways, so it is something that gets overlooked and doesn't get taken very seriously. And then I think that's when we start seeing like the yo-yo situation going on, and then, which is no fun. Yeah. It's no fun to have to go back and try to do everything all over again.
Well, yeah, because that's exactly, what would end up happening, because you can't, if you maintain, you're not going to have to go back and start all over. Right.
Right. No. So if you maintain and say, give yourself like 6 months of just like holding steady.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden you're like, okay, what typically happens is all of a sudden now you're like hitting a new spot where you're like, okay,
now what do I want to do?
Yeah, what do I do? Now your goals are probably like different.
You don't have to start over at square one.
No, but you're like, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, a year into this plus or whatever, however long, you're like, okay, now what am I going to do? Yeah. Can I go push myself to do something else? I'm happy where I'm at. Like, do I just keep maintaining? What other options do you have? So, it's really just not, you got to hunker down and focus on.
How do you know how to maintain? How do you know what it is you're supposed to be doing to maintain?
Typically, you should continue doing what you've been doing along the way for 80% of your time. Okay. And then that's that 20% like wiggle room. You have a chance to be like, okay. We'll get to have some flexibility, maybe more than you did like along the way to get to your goal, but that'll give you some maintenance. So, I don't know.
That makes sense.
How do you feel about that, though?
I mean, I'm not there yet, so I'm not too concerned about it. I'm sure you will let me know when it's time. And then as my new fitness coach.
Listen, I'm not your fitness coach. We are only co-hosts of a podcast, in which we are like, exploring.
When do we start strength training?
We'll get there eventually. Where we start exploring, let's just talk about fitness culture and different things like that, and keeping things entertaining and light and informative and entertaining. That's what we're going for, right?
That's what we're doing.
We're working on it anyways. So I don't know. How do you think that through this process that you are like working on finding habits that you feel like you've established that are going to be ones that you want to keep carrying through from like this point forward?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what I've been doing. I would say for the last, 7-8 months, is I realized I can't do a whole lot if I don't establish some habits that did not exist for me before. Right. So, I mean, at this point, I'm not pushing, as far as like fitness, I'm not doing anything wild. I'm not there. I'm not even there yet. So I'm really not too concerned about this at the moment, because I haven't
got there
really
yet.
Done much yet.
And, sometimes it's a never ending journey though, right? Because even if you say you have people, like I've had people walk in with like pictures and they're like, I want to look like this, and sometimes it's really easy to get fixated on a specific like image of like, and it's hard to compare where you're at in your journey directly to somebody else's like physique, because you don't know how long that's taken them, what their genetics versus like lifestyle, all the things. But I've had people come in and be like, I literally want to look like that. I'm like, it's actually really hard, and it's getting you set off on a really challenging start, because you're comparing yourself to someone that even if you were to get super close to there, I promise you someday, even if I'm looking at you and you like look close side by side, you're still going to look in the mirror
and not see that.
And you will not see that.
Yeah.
You will still find your own imperfections that you will continue to like focus on, pick apart.
Yeah.
And if you get there, at least to where I'm like, you know, the third party that's like, okay, I mean, like you made it.
Right.
When you look in the mirror, you will find new goals.
Yeah.
Like it is truly a never ending journey. And it can be at different like intensities for different people. And sometimes it's just like a get well and stay well journey.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be physique based.
Right.
Or, you know, it's different for everyone, but just also knowing that when you get to whatever you think your goal is right now,
Yeah.
that you shouldn't bank on that, like all of a sudden, like making you happier or whatever.
Right.
You just don't know how things are going to be for you then. Once you maintain and find new goals, I mean, new goals will probably pop up.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And then it's a constant like journey.
Yeah.
And
that's
cycle.
okay, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I've never given up. I mean, and I have never, in the last, 11 years that we've been at this or whatever, 12 probably almost at this point from my beginning of my very first transformation, like there's been ups and downs and different stages and phases and like short-term goals.
And you've
for sure. I mean,
yeah.
life happens.
Yep.
And so, you have to take some of that into consideration too, like where you're at and like your journey. And that's okay too. Like you can't just be hardcore about things 100% all the time.
It's exhausting.
It is very exhausting for sure.
Yeah.
So you find where you're at. And then like, once you get there though, be like, okay, like, let's good. Like I'm actually kind of super lazy when it comes to maintenance. I'm like, how little can I do to get away with maintaining this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because life is busy and you don't want to feel like I got to go to the gym 6 days a week all the time still and all of a sudden. Cause like it can ebb and flow. So you're like, how much can I get away with before like things start changing? And I was like, okay, oh man, maybe it's time to like dial it back in or refocus or whatever. And it just, it can ebb and flow and change. And there's
interesting.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So there we go. I don't know. That's a little bit about just thinking through what happens when you get to where you think you want to be.
And I
Like
remember you
today,
saying, I think it was a couple weeks ago. I don't remember what we were talking about, but you told me, you're like, just wait till you have to start doing maintenance. And I was like, another thing?
Wait, what? There's more to this at the end?
Wait.
I'm like, it's way harder because you're not, it's not, in my opinion, it is not the most fun, exciting part of the journey, but it is the most important because how you do that and what you've learned through your journey up to that point is totally helpful and how you're gonna be able to like keep it and hold it from that point forward.
Absolutely.
So anyways, but yeah, I mean, that is just something to kind of think about. We've talked about a ton so far. We're wrapping up the first season then here. So we've thrown a lot of information out. We've discussed, we've talked about different things. And so a lot of information to kind of like think about, consider incorporating in, whatever kind of floats your boat. But yeah, that's something to like keep in mind that even though it's maybe not here today, it's coming at some point. And so you have to be aware of the fact that that's another stage. It's definitely a part of the big picture and just get ready for that. Be ready for that because it is a very important part.
I'm ready.
And don't discount it.
Okay.
All right. So anyways,
all right.
You're ready for that then, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that means you kind of got there a little bit too, which is exciting.
I mean, I feel like I'm maintaining right now but I haven't even done anything.
Well, then,
you know,
there's a win-win. There we go. Oh dear. Okay. Well, then there we go. Then on that note, we're just going to maintain now here. So now looking forward, as we're looking forward, we're kind of like painting that picture as it relates to goals and like personal health and wellness. If we take a look at the podcast, if you could look ahead, what do you envision our next episodes, the future seasons to kind of entail? Yeah.
Oh God, why is this up to me?
I mean, because I asked the question first.
So season 1, we kind of focused on, we picked the topics that we wanted to talk about and we kind of rambled. Yeah. Went with it. That's been fun.
Yeah.
I know we talked about having some guests on.
Yep.
Next season.
I have kind of a list started of people that I've handpicked based on kind of some of our conversations so far to bring in for some expert opinions and guidance and things like that I think will be really super fun to introduce you all to.
I think that'd be fun. We'll have someone, maybe in person, maybe some call-in.
Yep.
That'll be cool. And then we've talked about doing kind of focusing in more on certain topics, not having such a broad topic, but maybe we'll get some feedback from our listeners.
Yeah, I would love that, actually.
What they want to hear.
I would love for you to send us an email. Probably the easiest way to submit kind of some topic ideas. So nachofitnesscoach@gmail.com. Yeah. Probably the easiest way that if you have something you want to learn about or have us kind of discuss or try and then talk about, submit your ideas into the email.
Yeah.
And we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
I think that'd be very fun. And so, and if it's something we don't really know much about, then we'll maybe find that'd be a good guest topic.
Make it sound like we do. You know what I mean?
I feel like we've kind of been doing that anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of our MO.
Fake it till you make it.
That's right. There we go. This has all been one big sham.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. I can't. All right.
It's getting late. It's getting late.
That commercial just played through my head.
Oh, no.
Okay. So anyways, on that note, we didn't give you... Almost went for it. It was like with some bleeps. Is that what? Okay. Can't do that. Okay. So, that's kind of where we've been, where I think we're going.
Where we're going. Yep.
And really looking forward to it. I think there's a lot of great things coming ahead. Yeah. So would definitely want to thank. I think it's important to thank.
Yeah.
All of you that have been listening. So thank you as a listener for supporting us as you have taken the time to choose our podcast to listen to. Hopefully it's been helpful and giving you some nuggets of information. Or
at least entertaining.
Maybe a few laughs along the way. Just maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So I would definitely love to extend that thank you to the listeners for sure, without a doubt. So,
and then we want to thank our sound guy, Alan.
He's amazing.
All of this is his equipment.
We got the sweet setup.
Yeah, a lot of the feedback we've gotten so far has not been about you and I.
No.
At all.
The quality of the sound.
It's the sound quality.
Well, then we're changing the name of the podcast.
Well, yeah. Season 2, we're just going to rebrand everything.
We could just sit here and read nursery rhymes and people be like, the sound is amazing.
So good. I mean, that's pretty much been the feedback we've had so far. Yes. It's not been about the content of the conversation or like us at all. It's like, whoa, you guys sound legit.
So next season.
Let us sound shittier.
As long as we sound legit, and it doesn't matter if we are legit.
Yeah. That's like you said, this has all been one big sham. Just record something on Alan's awesome mic.
Yes, and just read it.
You've got headphones. You're legit.
Yeah, we do. We are legit. We've got the headphones, so it makes it sense. So, and then a final shout out to Jeremy for hooking us up with the space, giving us a chance to record all the topics, and it's been a super fun trip so far. So can't wait.
Space isn't like the location, just so that's clear.
It's true.
It's kind of breezed by
the room, the physical
place we're sitting right
and
now.
We're using the tables and the chairs, and there we go. So
the war room.
The war room. Yes.
Perfect. We just come in every once in a while and completely tear apart his place of work.
And I really hope that we put it back together correctly.
How hard can it be?
Well, I don't know. I should have taken a before picture.
He'll let us know.
We'll do our best. So thank you again for choosing to listen to us. Thank you. Submit ideas for topics to Nacho Fitness
Coach.
Coach.
To hear what you guys want to hear us squawk about.
Yeah, at Gmail.
To these awesome microphones.
.com. Yep. And we're just going to keep rolling with it. Lots of great ideas. Keep listening, share, spread the word. And hopefully we'll give everyone a laugh. A little laugh.
We're super excited for season 2. I think we have a lot of fun ideas.
Yeah.
And things coming up. So
cool. It's going to be great. So with that, it's a wrap for season 1. And until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. Be sure to let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and of course, tell your friends. Until next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.